So do you think that name for that fart, Pickle Toot, you think that'll work?
I think so, yes.
I like it.
I love it.
I mean, it's appropriate.
Second question.
Yeah.
Who's doing the review this week?
Glad you asked. A guy named Ryan Taneja. I think he can do big things for the channel. He's like an activist, influencer. I think... Hey, Ryan?
What? You know my name? Where am I?
Yeah, we're at the movie tavern. Remember we were gonna see the new Doctor Strange tonight?
What? That's out? I thought Joaquin Phoenix wasn't going to be in the sequel.
This is Multiverse of Madness. They haven't started filming Joker 2 yet.
Who are you dudes?
Why are there two dudes?
Yep, sorry about that.
Okay, which Ryan exists in the universe where Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, and we have been talking about reviewing this movie together?
Oh, yeah, that's me. Sorry guys, I took the wrong portal on the way here.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and joining me this week, Mr. Ryan Taneja. Thank you for being here, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Ryan runs Taneja Marketing Group, current UCA student,
Yes.
working on bachelor's and master's, so a lot going on. So I'm, first of all, just happy you could take the time out to join us tonight to see a movie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, and a pretty big movie at that. It's the newest MCU release, newest Marvel movie. It is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Before we kind of dig into this movie, give me some background on like where you're at with the MCU in general. Are you a fan? Are you kind of caught up on everything that's going on? Where do you come into this movie from?
I'm a really big fan. I love watching the MCU movies. Sometimes I even rewatch them. Thank you for having Disney Plus and all that, you know.
Right.
So I love watching. I'm very kept up. I haven't watched WandaVision, the TV series. Don't come at me. I haven't finished it, but watching this and kind of watching what I've seen with Spider-Man.
So you haven't finished WandaVision?
I haven't. I'm like two episodes left.
Oh man, well that'll be interesting to talk about because that WandaVision, and just up front, we will keep this largely spoiler free. But WandaVision plays into this movie pretty critically, so I'll be interested to kind of hear your thoughts on that. But okay, yeah, same. Like generally enjoy the MCU. Phase 4 has been a little rocky.
Get out of my house!
It's that adjustment phase after the Infinity Saga and everything. But this one kind of comes with a lot of baggage, I feel like. Not baggage. Baggage is a bad word. But it comes with, there's a lot going on both in this movie, on the screen, as well as kind of behind the scenes. This is, the first Doctor Strange sequel, like direct Doctor Strange movie since 2016.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's Sam Raimi's first movie in a good while since Oz the Great and Powerful. And obviously Sam Raimi is no stranger to the superhero genre. He directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies. And then this is also like breaking wide open this multiverse that obviously Doctor Strange played a part in Spider-Man No Way Home. But this kind of like blows the doors off the whole thing. And so all that in mind, the bit here is that we just came out of the movie. What are your initial thoughts on Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, I think it just adds to the level of complexity and leaves room for a lot of different storylines. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because I already thought there's a lot out there. So having, additional characters kind of make a cameo and stuff is
right.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of surprises. We'll definitely say that. But more what I was kind of fascinated by with this was Sam Raimi coming in to direct this, because the first Doctor Strange movie was directed by Scott Derrickson, and I was kind of lukewarm on that first Doctor Strange movie. It did hit a lot of the similar origin story beats that we had come to kind of, be used to with the MCU.
100%.
This one, just like in typical Raimi fashion, is kind of just hits the ground running. And, Sam Raimi is one of those directors who kind of was defined by his first couple movies, the style of the Evil Dead franchise and everything, kind of not both scary, but also pretty zany, pretty goofy 100%. In a way. Yeah. And just has a really fun sense of humor that I'm on board for. And so I wondered how much of that was going to like creep into this MCU movie. And first 20-30 minutes I was kind of like, oh, this is pretty standard MCU so far, but the longer the movie goes on, the more Sam Raimi influence you can feel.
Yeah, and you can kind of see, like, compared to the other movies, like I recently watched, the new Spider-Man that came out. Yeah. You can kind of see the different styles that they took with the scene, the shots, the type of dialogue, the type of vibe that this movie give. I have never really received from an MCU movie, and I could tell it was kind of complacent upon the director's eye, which is interesting and it's kind of cool, but sometimes it kind of separates itself a little too much from the other movies.
Okay.
So like I feel like I enjoyed it. I had a really great time. It was just a lot, like you kind of said.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the original, in 2016 Doctor Strange movie, it's a little different in my opinion. Like one, it kind of had a nice smooth storyline. This one was like, action packed, let's go, pedal to the metal, and it was really, really fun and entertaining. But it just leaves you wanting more, and more's to come. But it's pretty far away.
Yeah, that's the thing too, that like the MCU is kind of like the conflict within the whole franchise right now, is that it's constant looking ahead. Like that seems to be, even when I was watching something like Moon Knight, I'm like, this is fine, this is cool, like there's some really interesting and fun aspects to this, but ultimately it was kind of like, what is this leading to? Yeah. And a lot, like, I feel like the MCU in a lot of ways has kind of trapped itself in making its audience always question, that's great, but what comes next?
Yeah, and like what could be the realm of possibility, because they've twisted it so many times that it's just like, it's not what you expected. And that's what's fun about it, and I think that's how MCU, I would say, save movie theaters, if I'm being quite honest, because I don't know what's happening next. I want to go find out. I want to find out ASAP, no Rocky.
You get me?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to go figure out what's the next move, what is this little hint that they give at the end of the movies. They really pulled a full-on, I think it's Pixar, you could say, because they have a little hint in their movie.
Oh, yeah.
They went full on out,
and
they have a lot of Easter eggs throughout this movie and any movie I've seen the last couple of years. Like, that's one thing I like about it, but sometimes it gets really hard because, like, if I miss 2 episodes of WandaVision, or if I'm starting Moonlight, like, you never know, something could kind of take a play into something else.
Yeah, that is the thing also. Like, this movie totally assumes that you're up on WandaVision, and as much as this is a Doctor Strange sequel, this is kind of Wanda's movie. This is a Scarlet Witch movie, and I say that in that she has a bigger arc than the title character.
No,
like
she killed it.
Strange, Doctor Strange, and they introduce America Chavez, who's a new character in the MCU, and her and Doctor Strange are almost like traffic cops or something in this multiverse of a movie, while Wanda is the one who has the most thematically rich character story. But yeah, I mean, and the story itself is kind of like, I mean, it's exploring a multiverse, so like all the rules are kind of out the window, and you just kind of follow the logic that the movie's throwing out there as you go along on this journey. But I think the character arc that Wanda does have is really well executed, especially for the running time of this movie. It's because the pacing is so quick, it feels like a quick 2 hours. And I just think Sam Raimi infuses it with enough of his like style and vision.
I'm not amused.
And like unique little quirks as far as, you get his Dutch angles, you get his sense of humor, you get his kind of campy, like the way his camera moves, close-ups on people in their reactions and their screams to these sometimes horrific things that are happening. And yeah, there's enough of his style in there, a strong enough arc, and just it's such an interesting place in the MCU as a whole, this 100%. Movie is, it kind of like, it is all over the place. Like, I get what you're saying and I definitely feel that way, but I kind of like love just like it kind of rocks.
No, it really does. It really does. What I mean by that is like, I'm like, when leaving like that movie, I would just like, oh my God. Like I couldn't, it's like I'm still processing right now, even as we're talking, because it's just, the amount of solutions, the amount of scenarios and situations, because there's a multiverse involved, is just like, they could have been, this was what they picked. And I'm just the type of person where I'm thinking ahead, like, why did they pick this type of story plot exactly how they did? What does that lead to, and what does that mean? And kind of what they show in the end is like, it just entertains me. I'm just like, okay, now what does that mean for future movies to come? Because they've already released the titles for the upcoming movies after this. And so I'm just like, does any of this play into any of that, you know?
See, and like, again, that's like the double-edged sword of the MCU is like, I want to enjoy this and like take it for what it is and enjoy all the effort and hard work and thought and imagination that went into this, because clearly, you know, when you pull in somebody like Sam Raimi, he's going to throw himself into this in a way that you can tell his heart was kind of in the making of this movie. And you can see that in just like a lot of the way the action sequences are executed. Also wanted to say, like, you know, sometimes special effects in the MCU can be a little CGI everywhere.
The beginning was a little...
But then again, like, as Raimi's style was more like kind of introduced into the vibe of the film, like, I felt like the special effects were like more tangible almost. Like you could they felt more legitimate.
The beauty of his style is I feel like I can confidently say that like not one scene matches the other. Like whatever pose, whatever type of emotion he tries to convey out of each character, what I noticed in the movie is the directions, the angles, etc. per person varied every single shot that they were in. Sure, you would have, you know, just your average straight up front, but the way that he just kind of like panned around the individuals, kind of captivating their emotions, as you know, Doctor Strange does this little thing. Yeah. So it kind of showed and blockaded you into each character, and I found that interesting because I didn't get that vibe usually before in the first movie, but with this one, I really felt like I could feel the rage, I could feel the anger, I could feel the upset of each character and whatever type of emotion they were feeling in each moment. I felt it. Like I could feel like, man, I want to get up and do something.
Yeah, and that's even Raimi's earliest films, kind of like I said earlier, like The Evil Dead and stuff like that. Like his camera motion, his kind of, not steady cam, his steady cam is very kind of chaotic in a way. And you definitely feel that here. There's one sequence where it's called like dream walking, I think is how they refer to it.
Yes.
And there's one with Wanda specifically, and it's just very, very Raimi. So I think it does kind of slowly take fans who maybe aren't familiar with Raimi's work, who are here to see the new MCU movie, it kind of slowly steeps them in his style and hopefully kind of, you know, smoothly kind of
maneuver,
coerces them into this kind of new vision.
I'm not amused.
That this director has. And so I think hopefully there is enough of that kind of slow transition there that most MCU fans will appreciate it, and as well as like Sam Raimi fans liking it, because this, as much as it is a new MCU movie, it's it is a Sam Raimi film too, which I totally appreciated.
I mean, what I found interesting was Wanda's like how her character arc was kind of built off of WandaVision in general, because I really didn't think, I thought they would kind of try to deviate and separate that type of connection to the films, because although I haven't finished the last two episodes, just seeing now I can kind of assume what happened in the last two episodes, where she's at. So it's just interesting to kind of see, I don't know, how she was able to become the main person of the movie, when I was really expecting like Doctor Strange to potentially be the bad one, or whatever kind
of his variants,
or something. Like a bad variant or something. And I'm not saying, I don't want to spoil and say anything about that stuff, who's the bad one or what's bad or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, whoever having their anger for whatever reason that they do, it's interesting with her, how her seems to continue carrying out.
Well, it's interesting even because where her character was at the end of WandaVision versus the arc she goes here is kind of surprising still. Even seeing the whole series of WandaVision, it's still kind of surprising where they take her, and maybe not totally in line, but I think it works mostly because of Olsen's performance and that arc she does go on. But yeah, I don't know if there's too much more to say, like, without getting into major spoilers, but what we do here on Tavern Talk is we do a 5-star rating. So out of 5 stars, obviously this is your initial reaction, what would you give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
5.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I'm a critic, so I'm picky a little bit, but I really fairly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend people watching it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know why, but it's just kind of like, I feel like saying this movie rocked, like, is kind of fitting for how this movie felt. Yeah, I just don't know how to, like, say it any other way other than that. Like, that just feels right for this movie. I feel like I was just kind of really happy, again, to see a Sam Raimi movie on the big screen. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to go, I kept going back between 3.5 and 4. And I definitely want to see it again. But I'll go ahead and give it the benefit of the doubt and go 4 on this one. I really, I enjoyed this. Probably my favorite entry in Phase 4 of the MCU so far.
Hyperbole.
Without a doubt, see it on the big screen. I definitely want to see it again, just kind of like, because there is so much happening. There really is. There's so much going on in this. And it does kind of, like I said earlier, just kind of cracks the world wide open and, like you said, opens up so many more possibilities for this. But yeah, but thank you, Ryan, for doing this, man. I really, really appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your day. I know, busy guy, and so I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this.
Thanks for having me. I mean, it's amazing what y'all do, and I love having the ability to kind of discuss this and get a little bit of a deeper level and a deeper understanding thanks to your experience.
Yeah, no, well, and thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to experience Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness on the big screen, definitely check out a movie tavern if you have one near you. And thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. That way you get a notification every time we upload a new review. We try to do that every week, a new review of the biggest release. So check that out. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ryan. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.